lead me up to the point of when you decided to go and get your real estate license.
I started getting into real estate because even when I lived in Northeast Ohio, we used to have parade of homes, believe it or not, every now and then. So I would go to the parade of homes up there. And then when I moved here, I moved to Dublin and they had a parade of homes, kind of like the parade of homes, but it's a Dublin one. And so we lived in the Murfield area and you can kind of like, they just had all this little stuff that you can walk to on all these little communities. And
Hmm.
I used to just do it. And I used to do that's what I enjoy. I didn't want to go to like bars or anything like that. That was my little, downtime. And my son wouldn't go, but my daughter would be like, yeah, let's go look at these houses, and stuff. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like, when my daughter gets a little older, independent, I'm thinking I'm going to get my real estate license. So when she turned about 11 or 12, I think it was, and she was, able to stay home by herself, that's when I start looking into getting my license. And I'm going to tell you, John, I was sitting on the couch and I was going through mail. And you know that little blue folder that comes in the value pack?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was a $200 off in there. And I was like, this is nothing but a sign, you know,
Crazy.
very crazy.
'Cause I still get those, but I don't really open them. So
I usually throw them away. Yeah, I do
yeah.
too. This particular day, I did not. I sat there and went through the whole thing. And it was like $200 off to get your real estate license. Back then, it was like 1,600, I think. So I think I paid 14 or something for the whole package at Hondros. And after that, it was all she wrote. I've been doing it ever since.
What year was that?
I started in 2016.
Okay.
Some things got like my daughter had an asthma attack. She was in the hospital. So I kind of got sidetracked and didn't take the test. And then I ended up taking the test in 2017. And that's when I really, I think I got my license June 2017. Yep.
Okay. Okay. What when you dove in, and obviously you're still in a whole nother career, at this point,
Mhm.
but when you dove into real estate, did you have supporters, doubters? Like, what were the people around you saying?
The people around me, I think they were very encouraging, but you will find people like they don't know if you're gonna be good enough, or are you really about it? What are you? You know what I mean? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. You can tell by your Saphir, they might not call you at first, and stuff like that. But honestly, mostly all my closings have been strangers, and they are all now like good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just last weekend, I was at one of somebody I closed in March baby shower. Like they're like my family now.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's a big misconception in our industry. And you've heard me talk about this, but like leads, right? And like
Mhm.
most people only want to work with their sphere of influence, and there's nothing wrong with that. And obviously, we all need to work with our sphere of influence.
Right?
But in school, I just always remember they're like, it was like this. Oh, everyone's gonna sue you, right? Like you better do it this, And I always just thought like when I got into it, it was like, man, with leads or strangers or whatever, like my goal is to make them my friend by the end of the transaction. And if I can do that, then I will be fine.
Yep.
I
Yep.
won't get sued. Friends typically don't sue friends.
Right.
And the sphere and the referrals and everything else will take care of itself with time. But I'm interested in your mindset of, because again, real estate is typically uh, someone's second, third, fourth, fifth option as a career, right? It's usually not like 18 going into real estate or graduating college and you're going into real estate. It's usually like people find it on their journey of life or journey of career moves. What was it for you? What was your goal with getting your license, those first couple years? Was it just to be in it because you enjoyed it? Was it because you really wanted to go after and accomplish something?
I think when I became a homeowner the first time, I really wasn't educated. And I feel like I wanted to get into it to educate people. And I that's why I hold home buyer seminars all the time. I always tell people, yes, I enjoy my career, and yes, it's a source of income for me. Let's not make that mistake. However, it is something that I'm passionate about that I think is has to do with education, educating people of how it's just not smart to rent. You know, it's always better to own, and just, and I have all kind of clients. That's what I'm grateful for, because I have some people they can't get approved for a lot. I have some people that can get approved for 800,000. You know, it's, but I try to educate everyone, and I think that the helping people part is why I really got into it, and not just, oh, I need to make some money. You know, it wasn't about that. I mean, of course, I want to be paid because I use a lot of my time for this. I mean, I sometimes don't know how to cut it off. I'm at 9, 10 o'clock at night sending stuff to people. You know, I see something and I'm like, hey, look at this house, look at this house. You know, and they're like, do you ever sleep? Sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really what my goal was, to educate people, because I didn't do that for myself when I was my first time home buyer. I just basically looked at houses, bought a house, and but I do think it's about education. It's for our community that we live in, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. When I was younger, this is just me calling myself out. There's an agent on our team, still on our team, Jared, who, would always tell me, that, what we do changes people's lives.
Yes.
Right. And when I was younger, I was like, sure, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
I was just 22, cocky, and just doing my thing. Right.
Mhm.
But it's true, right? Especially, like, you see all of the wealth that happened since when I got in 2011, just through coming out of the last, recession, and, people going through those moments. I just did a closing, in July, where I helped them buy in 2014. They came from California. They lost their home and everything, out there during the crash and the recession. And, they just called me up, and we just listed their home, and, they were able to walk away with well over $100,000, to help them onto their next journey of where they're going. And as I've gotten older, right, and understand the power of real estate and what it can do for people, and what it's done for me over the years, it's truly is that, right? Us as agents, we have the opportunity. Yes, we are helping people buy or sell a home, but we really have an opportunity to shape, um, their family tree and their family wealth, in that
Yes.
regards too.